Vigilante Williamson here with a very simple question. What is the WalkAway movement? And that's being slightly facetious. It's a movement by Brandon Straka, who is a hairdresser from New York. He started this movement for former liberals and former Democrats who were tired of the Democrats and tired of the liberal games and wanted to become Republicans or conservative. And this is my story and critique. It's a long story. I've done a couple of takes of this video and they've gone pretty long, so I want to keep things concise. So it starts in 2001 from Detroit, West Side. I'm a freshman in high school and Kwame Kilpatrick becomes our mayor. And I was excited, like a lot of people. He was young, he was black. He wasn't our only black mayor. I mean, last few mayors before that were black, but he was young and charismatic. And there were people, believe it or not, who thought he could be the first black president. Sounds crazy as fuck now, but that's what people thought. If you don't know about what happened with Kwame Kilpatrick, he was a mess. He was completely corrupt. Strippers got killed, a lot of embezzlement, a lot of mess, a lot of games. But quite frankly, he was endemic of a greater problem with my city in general. Historically, has just been my city and my state, quite frankly. If you go around those roads in Michigan, at least historically, I haven't lived in Michigan about 5 or 6 years. God, they're bad. So it's just been a state that politicians have just ripped off for years and years and years. White, black, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. My state gets ripped off time and time again. Flint doesn't still have water. And this is why I'm not a partisan. And this is my criticism of the WalkAway movement, but I will save that for later and continue my story and digress a little bit and go to 2008 where Barack Obama becomes the president of the United States. I voted for him then. I also voted in 2012. That one was a little bit more against Romney. I wasn't completely satisfied with Obama, but he was a lot better than Romney to me. I still hold to that. I don't think Romney was a good candidate, even though I did not like Barack Obama's presidency, especially looking back, in a post-Thomas Sowell world. For me, Barack Obama is a terrible president, but I'll get to that later. It's kind of the end of the story. But 2016, and I didn't like either candidate. I did not want a reality show star. I did not want this Democrat and Hillary. I hadn't even heard about some of the stuff that I know about now that I won't even leave in this video because I don't even know if I can. But it's Kwame all over again. Just another corrupt politician. And Trump, and there's still, even to this day, stuff I don't like about him. But at that time, I had nothing. I didn't know. There's a lot more, I like a lot about him, though. So I'll get to the end. Foreshadowing too much. Anyways, I remember election night. I remember being kind of dumbfounded. I remember looking at Trump. I was watching with my sister, and she pointed out, I was like, look at Trump's face. Because he looked like he was the most shocked man on earth that he had become president. And that's how I felt. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? We saw a lot of cabinet members come and go. But ultimately, he did one thing that is almost, undeniable. And that's set the economy right. So, regardless of, there's a lot I don't like about him. I think he's added to the antagonistic nature that we have. Don't get me wrong, it's the mainstream media. It actually goes back to the Bush era. They've been doing this for years and years and years. And after social media and then after the Trump derangement system, they've manipulated the system and they've balkanized us. But he's added to that. To paraphrase him, it's been good and bad on both sides. So I have still have my apprehensions about him. He's way better than Biden. That goes without saying. Oh my God, Biden is dangerous. And this is the day that Kamala Harris just got picked. Holy smokes. Really? That's just, like, the Democrats are a mess. A complete mess. So I understand why you need to walk away from the Democrats. You should. They're terrible. But as you can kind of tell, as I foreshadowed, I am not a Republican. I have conservative views. And I think the completion of my walk away, because it's a long process. It's I was a Democrat, I guess. I voted for Obama twice. Then I'm neutral. And then I just am in the malaise. And so I became more conservative. I became aware of the WalkAway movement in 2018. I watched videos, and I liked a lot of what people were saying. And I have always been fiscally conservative, again, from Detroit, pointing at the hat. And I just knew how different situations with tax breaks impact businesses, which impact jobs. So I always had a little bit of fiscal conservativeness to me. I wish Herman Cain was still here. Rest in peace. I think he didn't go too far. I wish we were 888. I am really fiscally conservative, almost, crazily so, especially after reading and coming across Thomas Sowell's work. So that's kind of been the completion of where I stand as far as my values. But my criticism with WalkAway is partisanship. You always hear these same talking points. You hear this, oh, well, the Democrats started the KKK, and you hear all this. And it's true, and it's not, the Republicans free. It's like, okay, it's not untrue. But I'm not of the opinion that any of that stuff has anything to do with anything. And I am exhausted just as a content creator covering identity politics. I think that's why they're so toxic. It's just disgusting to constantly think about people in terms of all these descriptors of the race and the gender, whatever, and find out all these positive and negative statistics about a gender, and it's almost leading people to more balkanization, more racism, and I'm completely against that. And so I'm against partisanship as a concept. Don't get me wrong. You have your views, and when you find candidates to align with your views, you go with them. So if you're aligned with Trump, I understand it. You know what I mean? I don't plan on voting. I know I might get heat if anyone actually watches this video. That's where I am. But if I did, it would definitely be for Trump. It's almost, I'm more against putting a straight Republican ticket because the Republicans haven't really done much. They haven't really done much for free speech. I'm scared to say things on this platform. Everyone is. So I'm not a partisan, and I'm not going to be a partisan. So if you walk away, you make your own decisions. But do not walk into a hornet's nest. Do not make the same mistake twice. One of the main talking points, especially for my black brothers and sisters, is I was a Democrat because I was black and I was told I'm supposed to be a Democrat if I'm black. So you just went along with it. And I'm not saying anything against it. I did too, to a certain extent, right? Don't just go along with being a Republican just because you don't like Democrats. Honestly, I would say we need way more parties. I don't think two is enough. I just do not like this binary. I'm sick of the corporatists. I'm more of a populist than a partisan. If it were up to me, we would have 5 parties. That's a little outside the scope of this video, which is my favorite phrase, but we would have, the traditional Republican, Democrat. Then we need a centrist party. We need people who are common sense and goal-oriented and, empirical data-oriented. And we can figure out things. I'm not a socialist at all. I don't think socialism works. But maybe there are some programs that will be beneficial that we can implement. And I'm more of a centrist and more of a populist. But there's no party representative of that right now. Everything's so partisan. So my fear of the WalkAway movement, even though I think it's done a lot of good things and opening people's eyes into how corrupt the Democratic Party is and how corrupt this liberalism and this identity politics is, I don't want people to just walk into this partisan, walk from one hive mind to another hive mind. We have to get out of this hive mind mentality when it comes to politics in general, regardless of our race, gender, whatever. And to go back to my parties, I think we need a centrist party. I think, let the socialists have their own damn party, the Marxist, socialist, whatever the hell they want to call it. Give them a party, let them go crazy, let them turn the city into Portland if they want, and just leave them wherever. Try to get the, real people out of there. Dame, please leave Portland. Damian Lillard, please leave Portland. I never wanted him to leave, him and CJ. I love them, but they got to get out of there for their safety. That place is crazy. But seriously, and then have a true libertarian party because seeing them endorse BLM was just not good for me. So yeah, have a true libertarian party that actually cares about libertarian values, cares about liberty, cares about freedom, and it's actually, little government. If you have more of the spectrum of politics represented in this sort of party system, I think it would do a lot more good. This is what I wish I could walk into. But that's me being idealistic. So this is my criticism of WalkAway. It's my WalkAway story kind of condensed. This is what I wish we could have. I wish we had a more diverse party system. I definitely have a lot of conservative thoughts. I do believe in the Christ of the Bible. I don't like the attack on Christianity. I do not, I'm pro choice within reason. I think it's gone way too far. I don't think you should encourage abortions. We need a lot more nuance in politics in general. And I think WalkAway helps provide it. But as far as the movement, like a lot of hashtags, like a lot of things on the internet, if you follow it, it's your personal responsibility to make sure it doesn't become the same thing as everything else and become another hive mind. That's up to you. That's up to anyone a part of the movement, and they have to guard against it. Everyone has to guard against it because we see what a hive mind has done to our country, and it's divided it, and it's destroyed parts of it, and there are scars on this country that are going to take some time to heal. And the only way to do it is to come together and really be solution oriented and not worry about partisanship and all this BS. I mean, they're really repealing civil rights. That's crazy to me that the state of California is repealing civil rights. I cannot believe that I'm alive to see something this disgusting. And I understand why you have to walk away from this, because I got to walk away from it. I think we all have to walk away from that. But we got to walk into something that is better for the people in general, because there are people like Mitch McConnell. There are still, corporatists and wickedness all throughout both parties. And that's my critique of WalkAway. And I'm not on the Insta scam or the crap chat or whatever the kids are doing today. But just from what I see, I haven't seen it become necessarily toxic, but I have seen it become a little samey as far as a lot of stories. They all kind of sound similar, and that's all. And when I say similar, of course a lot of these stories are similar, but like I said, same talking points. I'm like, yeah, I don't want this to become a cult. You don't want this to become another mind cult. You don't want this to become another hive mind. Okay, I think I've said that same phrase enough, gone long enough. I'm going to call that the video. So please like the video if you like the video. If you didn't and I suck, tell me how much I suck in the comments so I can get better. If you want to share the video, I would really appreciate it. But even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching and thank you for your time.